Hey, I'm outside. Simeon, y'all. Simeon.
I've got to get going. I'm on my
Simeon, man. This is Simeon. Guess who I ran into? That's Philip Jackson right there on the phone.
Thank you, sir.
This man is on the battlefield, man. I want to get the backdrop of the school, but the sun is shining over here, so we got to do the backdrop over here because the sun, so you can be seen very well. Philip Jackson, man, you on the battlefield. Why you on the battlefield, man?
It was just announced by the city of Chicago that they're giving out $50 million to all these groups to help stop violence, to help mentor children in the black community. No one called us. There was no RFP. There was no invitation to try to get these funds. And I'm wondering where are all these guys coming from who I don't know, who are supposed to be coming into our community to save our children. When there are people who've been out here doing the work in Inglewood, Aisha Butler, Rage, and Roseland, Diane Latiker, Kids Off the Block.
But she just got a BET award.
She did.
CNN award.
Look, they invited me to the White House.
Yeah.
And it didn't mean nothing when it came time to give out the money.
You ain't mad, are you?
No, I actually expected it.
Yeah.
I expected them to take all this money and say, who can we give it to politically versus who's actually doing the work. So as long as you understand what's happening, then it's not a bad thing. But coming off of this mass blackmail graduation, it was outstanding. I don't know what anyone might have heard. Lupe Fiasco and Thomas Todd tore down the house. In fact, if you go on YouTube right now and hit Lupe Fiasco in Chicago Public Schools, it's going to be like 1 million hits all over the world. They're talking about this. And by the way, it was a misquote. Lupe never mentioned Chicago Public Schools. He was talking about education in general for black males in America. But if the shoe fits, wear it.
Yeah, but the main thing is that you're doing this. You're right here, right at Simeon 83rd and 81st and Vincennes. But you do this 7 days a week, man. You a 60 what year old man?
I'll be 63 this year.
Are you a 62-year-old man? You should be in the rocking chair.
Oh no, it's battlefield time. And look, I want some young people to come up that I can pass this to. But most of the young people, the first thing they say is how much money. And this is definitely, you can't do this job if you care, if you're concerned about the money. And then they go, well, what's the lunch hour? What's the vacation? There is no vacation. This is 365 days a year. There is no lunch. You come out here to do this work, and this is all you do. You know, I'm blessed to have a wife who finally, she understands that I have a supreme commitment to saving our people. I'm blessed to have a family. They don't expect to see me on the 4th of July because they know I'm going to be working with our young people. I'm not eating barbecue. I'm out here trying to educate black children. On Christmas, I'm not opening up Christmas presents. I'm trying to save black children.
You committed, man.
I don't know if I'm committed or not. I know that my people are in serious trouble.
Well, you'll be doing this to your dying breath, won't you?
I just drove past Cole Park where they say a young boy was shot yesterday on the 4th of July. You know, Frederick Douglass said, what to the slave is the 4th of July? And that's what our people should have been doing yesterday. I'm not saying that they shouldn't barbecue and shouldn't celebrate and eat watermelon and everything they do. But on the 4th of July, we should have been educating our people. On Christmas, we should be educating our people. On Easter, we should be educating our people. That's how we're going to get out of this. We are in trouble, even though we're in front of a very nice school.
Yeah, Simeon's very good school. Yeah.
They cannot educate black children without the parents, without the families, and without the communities. They can't do it. If those bricks, that glass, cannot educate black children. The teachers inside are probably very nice people. They can't educate black children. I don't even know who they are or what color. It doesn't even matter. Unless the parents, the families, and the communities adopt, embrace, bum rush education, then their children are going to continue to be destroyed.
But I think that I called in on VON. You just got out. You just came from the WVON studios. You did a wonderful WVON radio show. And I think some of us don't really understand the crisis that we're in.
Now, well, people were saying that Lupe Fiasco should not have told the children the truth. Nobody there on WVON or anywhere, nobody in the world says that it's not true. They say, but don't tell the kids, or don't tell the kids at that time. And so the question becomes, when is a good time to tell the truth to young people? And so some of the last callers said, you know what, this was enlightenment.
Right.
This wasn't education.
Right.
This was enlightening these young people to something that made them better people. There was one caller who suggested that the kids were better educated in those 2 hours that they were at the mass graduation than in the 12 years that they were in the Chicago public schools.
Well, you know, what I'm saying though is that, as you well know, it's really socioeconomic conditions. Some of it, let's face it, some of our middle-class African-American parents don't value education as much as we should. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And we absolutely put too much pressure on school systems. And so I can understand people will say, well, it's not all the school system's fault. I say 90% of it is the parents' fault, is the community's fault, our family's fault, our preachers' fault, for not taking over the school, for not being at this school. We're at Neil F. Simeon. It's
Right.
July 5th. Parents need to be up at this school today. Parents need to be up at this school tomorrow, which is a Saturday.
Right.
Parents need to be up at this school on Sunday.
Yeah.
They need to take over the school, and parents and families and community members have got to be the ones who guarantee that their children are going to learn. I see these young black men being written off. The jails are teeming with young black men who dropped out of Simeon High School.
Right.
Companies downtown will not hire young black men who graduate from Simeon High School. And until parents take control of the education of
And
their
we're not
children.
just talking about Simeon. We're talking about Hirsch, Harlan, Corliss, Finger. The list goes on and on.
Marshall,
and the schools in the
Crane,
suburbs.
and
Rich Central, Rich South, Rich East,
Proviso,
Hazelcrest. I don't want to hear
on
it.
and on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we happen to be at Simeon, but
Yeah.
I love Simeon, by the way.
Yeah.
There was a time about 20 years ago when Simeon had the first 10 honor students were black men. That was 20 years ago.
Wow.
Everyone was a black. This year, the first 10 were young black girls.
Oh, don't get me started on
So
that.
we're going backwards.
Yeah, and
We're
it's
going
not to put the girls down.
And it's not to put Simeon down.
No, the girls.
It's not to put the girls down. Young black men have whatever happened at the mass black male graduation was outstanding because those young men left transformed. They got it. They said, oh my God, this shirt and this cap and gown doesn't mean it. What means something is if I put something in my mind, if I'm able to go into my community and bring value through my education.
And I know you said that, and your speakers, TNT, Thomas Todd, and Lupe Fiasco said it at your graduation, that most of the young men got to understand your education doesn't end after high school. It continues for life.
Absolutely. But it's not just the students. It's what my whole community has got to understand. Black people, whether you're 40, 50, 60, 90, 100, life continues, education continues. If you're not continuing to get educated, then you are a part of this problem of the miseducation of African Americans.
And please, I know you're busy, you got to go to the next episode, but I think that people say, why you so hyper, Mark? Why you care, Mark? So I ask you, Philip, why you care, man? I mean, most of us don't give a rat's behind.
Man, I just drove around Cole Park where a young boy was shot yesterday on the 4th of July. What to the slave is the 4th of July? I drove around the park, people going about their business like everything is normal. We need to wrap our arms around that park and say, not another person will be shot in the park. You might remember Thomas Worthen, the police officer, was shot in the park or across the street from the park. We can't allow that. The police can't protect us. The teachers can't educate us. The city basically has a plan for us that we're not going to like. We have got to step up. We are the ones who've got to take control of the education of our children. Black men are going to have to step up and take over the streets. The police cannot protect our children. the police can't protect themselves. And so unless we step up, game is over.
We're taping this in July, and in August, a lot of our young men will go to college. Then you know, almost like 60% of black men drop out of college.
67%.
They drop out of college that first year.
First year.
Drop
67%.
out. This is very serious. And we ain't talking about it. We playing games. A lot of, and back here in Chicago, the school started in August for the first time in forever. They start, so school starts next month. We're not talking about school. Getting excited. I know you do the black.
We do the Million Father March.
Right,
We're working on it, right?
Yeah, I know you do that. But after the Million Father March, are we gonna go into the school and talk to these teachers and form a relationship with the principals and make ourselves known and say, hey, Junior's gonna get, he may not get A's and B's, but we won't accept F's and D's. Let's say that. F's and D's are unacceptable.
What you're saying is exactly what we're encouraging after the Million Father March.
Right.
We want black men, and see, I use this term and people don't understand. Take over the school.
Right.
You see what just happened? We just closed 50 schools.
Right.
And so you can't have a school in your neighborhood and you don't control that school. It can't be.
But what about those of us who say, I ain't got no kids at that school? What do?
They got kids who gonna run up on them and knock them in the head.
But like you said, I mean, if I come down to the local neighborhood school, they say, who are you, Mr. Sims? Why you here? You ain't got no kids in this building. Don't be coming here running your mouth up in here.
Mr. Sims, you pay taxes. And it's not just the taxes that give you the authority. You as a black man, you have inherent authority over the education of black children. You have almost divine authority over the education of black children because you are a caring black man.
But let me say, I mean, I went to Finger back in the 70s. Well, you went to a bunch of schools. You went like DeSable.
I went to 11 schools.
DeSable,
Hirsch, Harlan, Calumet, Kosminski, Farron, Wadsworth, Hendricks.
You got to write a book. We're going to talk about it off the air. But what I'm saying, though, even here at Simeon, they have an alumni program. But I bet you the alumni program, it's about partying. It's not about educating black children. I'm hating now. I don't know the facts. But you think that we should have a better alumni association? Because I will go back to Finger and help out if they invite me. I'll throw them some money if they help me, if they invite me back. I dropped out of school 33 years ago. I'll come back, but will they have me back?
If black alumni are not organizing to ensure the education of young people coming out of the schools that they attended, I take the blame for that. That's one more thing that I have to do is get African American.
And I'm not saying not to come back to have a party. I mean, to do something. We have alumni associations all the time. We be partying and barbecuing and stepping sets and all that.
We've been partying since we were released from slavery.
I'm not against partying. Don't get me wrong.
We've been partying since we've been released from slavery in 1865.
Yeah.
Party time is over. It is time for us to take control of the education of our children. If that means taking it from the mayor, then that's what it means. If it means taking it from the U.S. Department of Education, that's what it means. We have to take control. Ultimately, we are the ones responsible, we are the ones who will benefit, and we are the ones who will perish.
Yeah, but what does that mean, take control? What does that actually mean? Because a lot of parents are intimidated by the teachers. They're intimidated by the principals. They say, I don't really speak well, or my kid is really bad. I'm not coming up in that school, and then community people like me say, who am I? They won't allow me to help. They won't allow me to donate.
My grandmother had an 8th grade education out of Leesburg, Georgia. She took control of the education of her children with an 8th grade graduation. And because my grandmother went up to the schools, went up to the high schools, her children were educated, well educated, many college graduates. Her grandchildren were educated, well educated, many college graduates. And the only thing she did wrong, she died at 103. And now, many of her great-great-grandchildren can barely get out of high school.
But I think that we dropped the ball since the civil rights era is over. I think a lot of us we got comfortable, fat, and greasy, man.
It's not about civil rights. It's about it's about grandma rights. It's about mama rights and daddy rights. You got a right as a mama, a daddy, or a grandparent to get up in there and do what you need to do for your seed, for your son, for your daughter, for your grandson, to get a decent education. If your children don't get a decent education, They got jails for them.
But do you know?
They got penitentiaries for them. There are no jobs for them. They're going to be living with you if your children don't get a good education. So you have got to make sure, if you're anybody out there who's waiting for the Chicago Public Schools to properly educate their children, they're the problem, then you're the problem.
Please forgive me cutting in, because people get mad when I ask questions or interview somebody, but a lot of us haven't seen Whitney Young. We haven't been to the New Trier School way up north where Rahm Emanuel went to school. We haven't visited, have seen the lab school where Barack Obama and Rahm Emanuel sent his children to. I'm not criticizing him, but we really haven't seen what school really could be. Well, our schools are okay, but they could be so much better if we knew better. We don't know no better.
Well, many of our schools are not okay. I mean, not just physical planning.
Go ahead. Okay. They asked me was the pool over some kids over there. I can't videotape them, but go ahead.
Yeah.
You know, it's the bottom line. We don't know what's better. We haven't seen. I went to Whitney Young one time. That blew me away. That was one of the best schools in the city, in the state. I've never been to Walter Payton. A lot of us don't really know how good it could be. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And once again, it's back on the parents, the families, and the communities. Now, Lupe Fiasco, he's right that school systems have to take some of the responsibility, but communities also have to take some of the responsibility for the awful state of education for black children in America.
But they can always call you if they want to get involved, right?
If they want, if people don't call me, man.
I know.
People run away from me.
Because you make people responsible. You charge them, you challenge them to be responsible.
I'm going to put them to work.
Oh, that's
what I'm going to do. If people
me.
don't come telling me how bad your school is, come telling me that you want to take over your school, ask me to help you take over your school so we can make it better.
We got a lot of successful black folks who got good educations, make $50,000, $150,000 a year sitting on the sidelines. How you gonna get these people to sign up with you and call Black Star?
Some of them make $250,000, $400,000, $500,000, $1 million a year. They're not interested in helping Black Star.
But this is the reason why the streets of Chicago, I'm over here, this is Westcott School over here, the streets of Chicago drip with the blood of black children and black young men and black women. It drips, I mean, just blood everywhere. And we accept this.
Many people do. I don't. And if you're going to come around me, you can't accept it. And so it's just time for work.
Tell folks to call you, man.
Call us at the Black Star Project, 773-285-9600. Visit our website, www.blackstarproject.org, or meet us on the streets.
Man, you stay in the streets, man. You on the block, you on the battlefield, man. Phil, you're the man. I'm gonna give you a call. People, what's on your shirt, man? This is very serious, man. The streets drip with the blood of black children, and we just accept this, man. Yeah. I'm gonna call you, Phil.
Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna give you some money, Phil.
You already have. Thank you, Mark.